we are excited to welcome to the stage a pitch from CarbonBright. CarbonBright is an AI-powered sustainability intelligence platform that automates life cycle assessments, enabling manufacturers to measure and reduce product-level environmental impact in real time across complex global supply chains. Joining us on stage is co-founder David Rodrigues, who is a veteran technology executive with over 25 years of experience building and scaling enterprise SaaS and AI platforms. He has held senior leadership roles at Yahoo, Adobe Publicis Group, and G5 with a career focus on transforming complex data into actionable business insights. Welcome, David.
All right, good evening, everyone. I know I'm the closing act here, so I'll try to keep it short and hopefully exciting and hopefully you'll learn something new. So I'm gonna spend a few minutes talking about a problem that kind of sits in between product manufacturing, sustainability, and climate change, and how my company is helping companies solve that at scale. A short background, thank you so much for the introduction. Yeah, I've spent the last 2.5 decades building software products. I've worked for software companies like Yahoo, Adobe Systems, Conversant, and G5. Live here in Bend. I've lived here for several years with my wife and 3 kids. And like many people here, I care deeply about the environment that surrounds us. Unfortunately, lately it seems like we've seen a lot of effects of climate change here locally. And that's part of the reason why sort of it led me down the path to start CarbonBright. But what I want to talk about today, though, isn't just about climate change. It's about how the products that we as consumers purchase, sorry, there we go, that's me, every day are becoming more crucial to the sustainability conversation. So I'm going to quickly introduce my company, CarbonBright. I know it's a bit of a mouthful, and yes, I'm going to be talking about AI. So we're an AI-powered sustainability intelligence platform for product manufacturers. And so we help manufacturers measure, report, and reduce the environmental impact of the products that they produce so that they can meet compliance, product regulation, and also grow revenue. Traditionally, this kind of analysis has typically required complex scientific assessments that are called life cycle assessments. They are very expensive. They take months, upwards of tens of thousands of dollars per assessment per product. And we've simplified and automated this process so that it can happen in minutes. It's 20 times less expensive, and it can be scaled across entire product portfolios. But to understand why this really matters, let's zoom out for a moment and take a step back. Why is this a problem, and why must manufacturers really solve this? The global economy today moves an enormous volume of physical products. Every year, over 11 billion tons of goods are manufactured and traded worldwide. It's roughly 1.5 tons of goods per person on the planet. On top of that, consumers receive nearly 200 billion packages annually through e-commerce alone. Nice tie in there to e-commerce. Not just in Amazon or anything like that. I mean, it's just astounding the number of things that are shipped worldwide and ultimately discarded. And that scale, unfortunately, has very real environmental consequences. Oh, did I turn it off? Shoot. Did I press the off button? Can you guys help me out there? Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. The manufacturing, industrial production, transportation, and shipping and disposal of all of those goods together accounts for roughly 30% of global greenhouse gas emissions, along with massive amounts of waste and resource depletion. When you discard a product, it goes to the landfill. You have no idea where it goes, but believe me, it adds up. And this impact is a direct result of how those products are produced, what materials are used, how they're designed, and ultimately how they're shipped and moved through supply chains. It's astounding to me how many products are made and shipped internationally, overseas, through ships. Largely, they take up unnecessary space, but it's a complete waste. For manufacturers, however, they're now facing tremendous pressure from multiple directions, including investors that are imposing ESG mandates, regulators that are increasing regulation around product disclosure and safety, especially in the EU, but increasingly in North America. States like Oregon are imposing accountability for product and packaging waste on product manufacturers that have direct impact on fees that they have to pay. And retailers and large buyers are now requiring product level disclosures from their suppliers simply just to qualify them. Lastly, as consumers, we expect transparency and credibility around sustainable product claims. But the result is that measuring and disclosing the environmental impact of a product has become table stakes to do business. However, there is a problem. The problem isn't that manufacturers don't care, it's that the system that they're forced to use today is broken. A traditional life cycle assessment, which is the gold standard for measuring the environmental impact of a product, takes several weeks, sometimes months. It costs upwards of $30,000 per product, and it's entirely a manual and consultant-driven process. At the portfolio level, when you're thinking about the multiple products that companies sell, that can easily add up to millions of dollars, and it doesn't scale, and it's a huge financial burden. If manufacturers aren't able to obtain these certifications, however, they can face fines, they can be disqualified from procurement, or they can simply lose business to their competitors. And this is where my company CarbonBright comes in and how we're leveraging AI. We're combining traditional software automation with large language models and generative AI to build a next generation platform capable of automating lifecycle assessments. What used to take months and depend on a lot of data gathering, we're now able to complete in under a minute, which is amazing, with accuracy, with transparency and audit readiness built in. And it's largely due to the advancements of artificial intelligence that we're able to do this in the last 3 years. That really has changed the game in terms of our ability to do these assessments across multiple products. It's over 1,000 times faster, 20 times less expensive. And with our approach, we're completely flipping the script and changing the game. What that means for product manufacturers is that they're now able to obtain product compliance, audit-ready product compliance. There's a lot of acronyms around various compliance laws that I won't bore you with, like EPR and packaging disclosure rules, digital product passport, which is a new regulation in Europe. If you sell a product in Europe, you're going to have to comply with this. It means that you have to disclose the environmental impact of your product, even if you are a US-based company, for example, but if you sell in Europe, you're subject to it. It helps manufacturers reduce supply chain emissions to meet corporate net zero goals. There are thousands and thousands of companies that have set net zero targets that organizations, if you're a supplier, have to meet. It automates product certifications like BIFMA, LEED, and Amazon's Climate Pledge Friendly program, which is a distinction that your product is sustainable. Our platform also helps unlock R&D teams, enables them to design more sustainable products with lower impact and improved circularity. In other words, what we're doing is we're unlocking sustainability intelligence, but driving compliance and revenue growth. I'll spare you all the big numbers on this slide, but the opportunity for us is massive because in the consumer goods sector, it alone represents trillions of dollars of spend annually. For us, and in product compliance, it's roughly about $25 billion globally. And things such as regulatory pressure, retailer mandates, and compliance requirements are the key drivers that are driving manufacturers to look for solutions to scale this more quickly. And so far, our traction validates this. A few of our paying customers include UK-based retailer Marks & Spencer. I'll tell you a little bit about each of them and what they're using our product for in a moment. US-based manufacturer, ergonomic furniture manufacturer, Human Scale. They sell some wonderful products. Sustainable apparel manufacturer Masher. They're based in Los Angeles. And agrochemical manufacturer Enview. If you've ever set foot on a golf course, you've likely touched their product somehow. And also global packaging and bioplastic giant Braskem. Just a few of the major manufacturers that we're working with today. We're also in conversations with global leaders in other sectors, home appliances, healthcare, and we see our pipeline growing rapidly as a result of all of these regulations that are coming to light. The common theme among all of these companies is that they're using our product to measure the environmental impact of their products, to obtain product certifications. They're using it to redesign their product with improved materials that have lower impact and greater circularity, and in turn, reducing the overall impact of their products. Even though we've been fortunate enough to work with some global manufacturers, some of the largest in the world, we are a small team, globally distributed. Again, we're a startup, so it's really nice today to hear a lot of discussion in terms of how EDCO is supporting startups, and how many of these startups sometimes have to cross the valley of death. Experience that very frequently. Just last week, we were having problems with Microsoft, and it almost shut down our company. And it was just a crazy experience trying to deal with them. But it's one of those experiences where you kind of overcome and like, oh my God, thank goodness I'm still here. I want to give a quick shout out to the people on my team that are making it happen. We're, again, globally, so we have folks based here in Bend, in Florida, in the United Kingdom, and in India as well. And through the combination of some really smart folks that have sustainability expertise, expertise in AI and software engineering, we're able to really deliver some massive outcomes for our clients at speeds that traditional approaches have been unable to match. So that's all I really had to talk about today. There's a lot that I probably could have shared but haven't. I'm happy to, if you're interested in learning more about manufacturing or sustainability or life cycle assessments, I can talk about that for hours. I do have two asks. If you happen to know of anyone that is a manufacturer that you could make an introduction to, would greatly appreciate that. I heard some names earlier, companies like Procter and Gamble or Keurig. Would love to talk to those folks. Mm-hmm. Secondly, we are fundraising, so if you yourself are interested, or if you know anyone that's interested in investing in a company that will not only produce tremendous value, but also ultimately help the planet, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you very much for your time, and
well done.
answer any questions.
Well done. Great pitch.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is so cool, and it's so specific, and I'm wondering how you came up with the idea or like the solution that you've come up with.
I actually traveled. So after my last kind of job, I was looking to do something that had greater impact. I've worked at many different software companies, climbed the corporate ladder, and I really wanted to think about like, okay, in the rest of my career, can I do something that is beyond just, serving some companies' profit objectives? Like, can I help the greater planet? And so I actually traveled to the University of Cambridge in the United Kingdom, and they had a lot of really smart people there, and it was sort of like a climate-focused incubator, if you will, and that's how I came to this idea after studying kind of like where the impacts of climate change are arising from. Supply chains are huge contributors, as I talked about earlier, and unfortunately, it just was like the really difficult challenge for these companies to try and measure. You can't really change anything if you can't measure what you're doing, and so
that's right.
That's how I came to product
this
life
is so
cycle
cool. I know there's like it's remarkable that no one's talking about like buying less stuff. That just you very rarely actually hear that. And
yeah, it's something that is striking when you actually understand the numbers behind it. Like year after year, we're buying more stuff. Things are being shipped all across the planet. Our purchases are going up, and then we like dispose of these things without any thought of like what's going to happen to those things, right? 11 billion tons of goods every year are being traded worldwide. And by the way, raw materials are extremely expensive to extract from the earth. And no one really thinks about those things.
Oh,
So,
I'll tell you, it gives me
yeah,
a stomach ache every day, David. Like I have this toothbrush. I purchased this toothbrush and then it stopped working. And then they were like, "Well, you have a subscription, so we'll send you a new one." And I was like, "Well, that's cool, but what do I do with the piece of garbage now sitting on my counter?" It's actually so
yeah.
frustrating. So I love that you're addressing this. Okay, any questions for David? I just had to share. Yes, Rita. So are you incorporating no, this is great. Are you incorporating, I mean, are you incorporating like all of these inputs from the manufacturer, the energy sources, all of that into this life? Are you like
Yes.
explicitly listing that?
Life cycle assessment is truly a scientific process, and it includes everything from raw material extraction, transportation, what kinds of vehicles or modes of transportation you're using, all the steps in the manufacturing process, where they're located, where the facilities are, energy use, all that kind of stuff goes into really compiling the environmental impact. And it's more than just like, okay, what is the product made of? It's all the energy that was used to produce it, from raw extraction all the way to when you finally dispose or use and dispose of that product.
Fascinating. Any other? Yes, in the back. Are you able? Are you able to work on any product in any industry? Are you limited to certain products with certain data sets? Great question.
We serve most sectors of consumer goods and durable goods, things from like personal care products, cosmetics, home cleaning products, electronics, all the way up to more complicated things like washing machines, um, and even like huge equipment that is used in manufacturing manure drying tunnels, things that really span the
Yes.
gamut.
The
Yeah.
manure drying tunnels, yes, and the toothbrushes, yes. Okay, I think we had one other question back over here. Nope. Okay, I thought I saw an extra hand, so maybe not. Okay, David, I mean, I have lots of questions, but I think we'll just ask you to come back and give us an update
Would
when
love
you
to.
have one. This is amazing. Well done and a really great pitch.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
everyone.
All right, my friends, how about another round of applause for David?